Good evening. My name is Dr. Mieko Hatano, Executive Director at Oakland Symphony since 2018. On behalf of the Morgan family and the Oakland Symphony Board of Directors, it is my bittersweet pleasure to welcome you all as we, together, remember and celebrate Michael DeVard Morgan, a son, a brother, a friend, a colleague, a community activist, and music director of Oakland Symphony, Chorus, and Youth Orchestra, Bear Valley Music Festival, and Gateways Music Festival. Tonight is additionally momentous as we gather a full house and a full stage here at Oakland Symphony's home, Michael's home, the Paramount Theater, for the first time in 20 months. There are many, many people to thank. First and foremost, we give thanks to Oakland Symphony's and Michael Morgan's dear friend, James F. Bell, who has generously underwritten the evening. We thank Michael's community and artistic partners, the Akonadi Foundation, Bear Valley Music Festival, Gateways Music Festival, Sphinx Organization, Oakland Ballet, Oaktown Jazz, Interfaith Gospel Chorus, Festival Opera, San Francisco Conservatory of Music, San Francisco Symphony, and the San Francisco Opera for helping to support this program and their artist participation, and to all of the individual artists who have generously donated their time and talent to honor Michael tonight. We also want to thank all of you, his friends, his students, his artistic partners, his management teams, his supporters. You are what gave him joy. All of us, musicians, artists, audience, all of us are here tonight because of Michael. Michael still brings us together because he showed us how to be inclusive, with sincerity, with purpose, to find, in music and in action, the common ground all can share on this very stage in this diverse community. He showed us how Oakland is the microcosm of the world he and we desire. It is socially honest and authentic, always, always through the music. Suddenly, the Oakland Symphony faces a future without its founding father, but forward there is no doubt. He showed us the way in his vibrant life, his shining example, and in the depth and breadth of the music he so loved to share, his legacy. That is what all of us fortunate to be here will celebrate tonight and tomorrow, and in perpetuity we will carry on and play on. Thank you. Now, please welcome to the stage Melanie DeMore and Tammy L. Hall performing Sending You Light by Melanie DeMore.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you love to hold you in love. No matter where you go, no matter where you've been, you'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within. So I am sending you love to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you love to hold you in love. I am sending you love to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you love to hold you in love. No matter what you feel or what you choose to show, I'm always there for you. And so I want you to know that I am sending you love to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you love to hold you in love. I walk the path with you. Go slow, dear one, don't hurry. I'll go just like you need to go. There is no need to worry, 'cause I am sending you love to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you love to hold you in love. I am sending you love to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Dolores Huerta. Thank you. Thank you. And I had the very good fortune to know Michael Morgan. And I have to tell you that he showed up at our office in Bakersfield, California, And somehow our schedulers kind of got all mixed up. And they said, there's somebody here wanting to see you about a symphony. And he was in our little teeny break room where people go to get coffee and water. And I'm like, I was just shocked. I said, oh my goodness, I am so apologetic. Why are you here? You're not in our conference room. I guess the conference room was booked. All the offices were filled up. And he was in our little break room. And I was so embarrassed. But you know, he took it in stride and then told me that he wanted to do a symphony and wanted me to participate. And I thought, oh my God, you know, as a youngster, I was very fortunate because my mother always bought us tickets for the symphony. So my brothers and I, we were very fortunate. My mother worked very, very hard to start a business so that she could give us a good life. And so I grew up with music. I was very blessed. And then to think about having a symphony and my participation on it, that just kind of blew my mind. How could this ever happen? And so when he asked me for my playlist, and I thought of making it meaningful, thinking when we were in New York City, and we would get up in the early morning, and the city was so quiet. And that reminded me of George Gershwin, the Rhapsody in Blue, because it starts out so quiet. And then when we would come back from the picketing at the Hunts Point Produce Market, there were all the cars and the honking, and again, it reminded me of the Rhapsody in Blue, so I asked him I gave him that song for my playlist. And then he asked me some of my favorite singers, and I thought, well, Billie Holiday. And I thought of her song, God Bless a Child That's Got Its Own, right? Because we know that there are so many poor people in our society. And then he knew that I love jazz, so he was able to bring in a jazz group to play during the symphony. If some of you were here when that happened, it was just so awesome. And then, of course, we included a little bit of Stravinsky, the Firebird Suite, which I was fortunate to see two of the greatest ballerinas dance at Stravinsky's Firebird Suite in Los Angeles at the Greek Theater. So here in this playlist, there were so many memories of my life. And it was just such a blessing. And when we think of people like Michael Morgan, that the symphonies that here the Oakland Symphony performed, including, by the way, the children, the youth symphony also, that bringing music to the people where it belongs, okay? Bringing music to the people where it belongs. Because we know that music really fills our souls. And we know that music is the voice of God. This is universal. Everybody can listen to music, everybody can understand music, and this is why it is so important. And of course, when we have symphonies, and we think, and I often think, when you see a symphony, and you think of the years of training that musicians have to learn music, and the composers, and the auditoriums, and everything that it takes to have a symphony, that this is so important that we maintain symphonies, and that, again, that we make them accessible so everybody, every single person can enjoy a symphony. So I know Michael Morgan will be missed, but his legacy should never, never be erased or eliminated. The best way that we can remember everything that he did and tried to do is to continue his legacy and make sure that, yes, symphonies will be available to everyone, and we do everything that we can to make sure that we continue to support and maintain symphonies. Because, yes, you know, he is still with us. And so I'm going to say his name, and I'm going to say Michael Morgan, and I want you to say in Spanish, presente, which means he is still here with us. He is still here with us. Can you join me? Okay. Michael Morgan, presente. Michael Morgan, Michael Morgan. Que viva Michael Morgan. Que viva Michael Morgan. Que viva Michael Morgan. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you.
There's always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. These are the words of the brilliant Amanda Gorman, the first person to be named a Youth Poet Laureate of the United States, when she delivered the stirring piece during the most recent presidential inauguration. Her words also make us think of Michael Morgan, who was someone who was always brave enough to see the light in everything and everyone that surrounded him. Michael was the first guest conductor of the professional all-Black and Latino Sphinx Symphony Orchestra that performed back in 2000 in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Since that time, Michael remained a friend, a brother, a mentor, a juror, an advisor, and a guest artist for all of these years. Tonight, it is our honor to join in this wonderful, jubilant celebration of his life and his creative legacy. May he rest in power.
Thank you. I'd like to say just a very few words about the next piece I'm going to play for you. Summerland was composed by William Grant Still, who was the first person to do a lot of things. One of those was that he was the first African American to conduct a major American symphony orchestra. It happened right here in California at the Hollywood Bowl in 1936. I think it's really hard to go first. I think the only point of going first is that you open the door for people to come after you. Michael opened so many doors for so many of us, and the future will look so different because of it. The title Summerland was intended by the composer to refer to a better afterlife, to heaven. I think Summerland can also mean a better, brighter world of our own making, the way that Michael made this world so much better for us.
African-American conductors are extremely rare. That was never an issue for me. I always had my idols, Bernstein, Schulte, the conductors that I eventually got to work with. However, the rarity, once you get to a certain level in classical music, is pretty obvious. I mean, I've always been comfortable with it. I've done a lot of things where I was the only person of color. The thing that's most striking about the Gateways Music Festival is when you see a complete stage, a complete symphony orchestra that is entirely African American, because you just never do. And then, of course, to hear it, the level of players is tremendous. These are great players. So it just reminds you, if you need reminding, that such people, in fact, do exist, and there are actually quite a lot of them. I'm always very happy to come to Gateways because of the familial feeling, the fact that it is very much a family reunion with instruments. There's a feeling that everyone actually wants to have fun, in addition to wanting the music to be played at the highest possible level. I also don't particularly care for the sound of an orchestra when there's a lot of tension in the room.
And the un poco più mosso, that's Italian for hurtling through space.
I always realize when I go to a new orchestra as a guest conductor and I start talking and people will laugh at things I say, and I realize, oh, that's right, you haven't heard these jokes before.
And I like your critiques and occasional shade of how other people have said it. It's what us millennials call shade, which is great. It's just
normally, see, I'm being diplomatic, normally I am a forest of shade.
Probably the most important thing any of us can do in whatever field we're in is pass something to the next generation that is of value, so that they can share in this experience that's meant so much to us. So for me, when I see younger players come to Gateways, or I see the young musicians instituted at Gateways, it's just reminds one that there will be we are part of a continuum, and it will continue. It was here before us, it will be here after us, and we would like for that line to just be unbroken.
Hello, my name is Herb Smith, and we are the Gateways Brass Collective. All right. And we are so honored to be here to honor Michael, and it's amazing to think, with all the people that are here, this is just a fraction of the lives that Michael touched. There is a change to the program. We will not be playing George Walker's Third Movement Chorale. We will be playing a piece that I arranged. It's a Negro spiritual called There Is a Balm in Gilead. And after that, we will be playing the Ellington. So thank you so much, and it's such an honor for us to be here, and please enjoy.
don't have to clap. I'm just here to fill up a little space. My name is Carol Fife, and a couple people know who I am. I'm the council member for this district, of which this amazing, amazing space is in. Yeah, give it up for Oakland. Yes, yes. We still love, yes. So, yeah, there's a lot going on tonight, and this is the first time I've been back in this place for, I can't even remember. I don't even know what day or year we're in right now, but it seems like forever. And I just think it's really, really important that, especially in these times, that we remember that we can create peace, we can create love, and one of the ways that Michael Morgan was able to do that is through music. And one of the ways that I knew him was not a personal relationship, but it was by the access that he gave to young people through bringing music into the schools. I was a consistent, yeah, it's important. It's important. As a teacher, as a consistent chaperone to numerous field trips, and as the parent of a young person in the Oakland Interfaith Youth Choir, I was constant. I love y'all. You're clapping for everything. Yes, the Oakland Interfaith Youth Gospel Choir, who performed here every year for their Christmas concert with amazing artists and performers. I got to know Michael Morgan. He was such a beautiful spirit, calm, sweet, and accessible. And I've met a lot of people who do music, and sometimes they're not always nice, but he was amazing and generous and open and loving, and he wanted to make sure that every person, young and old, had access to the arts. And that is how I knew him. And when I was struggling to try to figure out what do I say about someone who's a gigantic personality that I didn't really know personally but was touched by them personally, I was thinking, like, what do I say? What can I even talk about? And then I was reminded about what matters, and that's matter. Because when we lose someone prematurely, or when we lose someone anytime, there opens up a space, a void. And oftentimes, because we are so deeply connected, we mourn. And it is more about the egotistical, selfish, I don't have them in my life anymore. But what matters is that matter cannot be created or destroyed, right? And I was reminded of a statement, a letter actually, that Albert Einstein wrote to the family of one of his best friends, someone that he worked on physics problems with and worked through just the theory of relativity and all the amazing things that Albert Einstein did. And he wrote to the family who was distraught about losing their friend. And I just wanted to read that and share that with you all tonight, because it's kind of what I thought about losing Maestro Morgan. He said, "Now he has departed from this strange world a little ahead of time. That means nothing to people like us, who believe in physics and know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. He is with us forever because matter cannot be created or destroyed, and that's what truly matters. That is eternal." Thank you all.
Thank you very much. My name is Ravi Abkarian, Executive Director of Oaktown Jazz Workshops. And this is Jayla Hernandez. She is an alumni of Oaktown Jazz. And now she is a youth mentor at Oaktown Jazz. So let's hear it for Jayla. So I first began working with Michael Morgan when he formed a really strong friendship with Oaktown Jazz Workshop's founding director, Khalil Shahid. It was really amazing. They became really fast friends and were so united in making sure that Oakland was able to offer a really high quality music education to young musicians. And so we were able to start working together. The organizations, the Oakland Symphony, Oaktown Jazz, started doing presentations around the whole Bay Area to go into the schools and work with children to talk about the similarities and the differences between the tradition of jazz and the tradition of classical music, and it was really amazing. Michael then joined our board of directors, and when I became the executive director of the program, it was just amazing to work with him. I mean, he really just was so thoughtful and so caring, and he really got it. I mean, this was somebody that had so many challenges in coming up as a young musician, because when you really want to play music and make that your thing, there are so many challenges, not just the simple practical things, but the attitudes around it, people saying, oh, you can't really do that. And so he really understood that from somebody that went from being the age of the children in Oaktown Jazz Workshops to being the artistic director and conductor of the Oakland Symphony. So he really understood every move and what the children were facing, and he also knew their potential. So that's really important. So it was just amazing to work with him, and it's just such a big loss, and I'm so happy that this celebration, I was saying to our instructor backstage, Mark Lee, I was saying, to Richard, I was saying, sometimes you're at a memorial for somebody, and it's such a good representation of their life that you can't believe that they're not there. So I really think that Michael is here in some way, shape, or form through our community. So I'm going to just ask Jayla to say a few words.
Thank you, Ravi. Hello, everybody. Once again, my name is Jayla Hernandez. I'm a youth mentor and a student of this music. Just to reiterate what Ravi said, I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for Michael Morgan. As the saying goes, no one is never gone until you stop saying their name. And so I just hope that we never stop saying his name and we continue to live for him. Thank you.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I will say this. Let's not take each other for granted. Let's not take ourselves too seriously. Always be brave enough to show love, especially when you are challenged to do so. Take the step forward and show love, and remember to laugh a little.
I wrote the song that we're going to sing tonight, I didn't know we'd be singing it in celebration of Michael's life, but the song is perfect for it. It's just giving thanks for every good thing, and what a life to give thanks for, right? So yeah, come on. Now, the other thing is, I haven't really been hearing any humor. You know, Michael was crazy, right? So I need a couple of laughs. One of my favorite things for him to do was play Sleigh Ride, and I would always catch his eye when it went, and he would look at me. Terrence, stop doing that. I never stopped it. So one time I was coming from that side to sing Let Us Break Bread, but there was a tuba case that I did not see. And right before I walked out, you heard kaboom, boom. I got right there. Michael said, great entrance. So then I'm supposed to sing Break Bread all serious, right? All right. So we just are so happy to be here and celebrate such an awesome life. So let's just make some noise for an awesome life, for an awesome gift, for a gift to the city of Oakland. Yeah.
Bright boy. evening. I'm Jennifer Dustin, and I met Michael in 1995 when I became executive director of what was then called the Oakland East Bay Symphony. Little did I realize, nor could I have imagined, that this meeting was just the beginning of what would be an extraordinary partnership lasting almost 2 decades. Though I had worked with many music directors and conductors over the years, I'd never worked with anyone as creative, innovative, talented, and yes, wickedly funny as Michael. But unlike many conductors, Michael did not wear these characteristics boastfully. Far from it. At Michael's 60th birthday celebration, I spoke of some of the memories from those early days. In 1995, the symphony was, to put it mildly, not in great shape. It was still struggling to rise from the ashes of a bankruptcy. We were, of course, in debt and had a long way to go to win back the faith, trust, and goodwill of our community. It was not a task for the faint of heart. We had to be scrappy, creative, persistent, and hopeful, and Michael personified all those things with boundless energy. Michael commissioned new works before we had money to commission new works. He created an acclaimed education program which, in the beginning, consisted of him going into the classrooms. And he created unique partnerships and collaborations with artists from all backgrounds and cultures, representing the rich tapestry that was and is our community. Michael said yes to every performance opportunity, no matter how, well, unusual. We performed with fire at the Crucible, on ice with Christy Yamaguchi, and under the stars at Chabot Observatory. And of course, there were the countless school auditoriums and gymnasiums, from Alameda to Crockett, from San Francisco to Livermore, and points between. And slowly, one concert at a time, one classroom at a time, Michael stayed the course. Because of Michael's vision, audacity, persistence, and hope, exciting new works were created and premiered, and at least 2 generations of Oakland public school children have experienced the transformative power of music, and the little orchestra that could, as coined by a local journalist, became a nationally acclaimed organization that has had a profound impact on our community and beyond. And for those of us who had the great honor and privilege of knowing and working with Michael, I think we can all say that we too are the beneficiaries of his many gifts: his humanity, his artistry, his generosity, and yes, his humor, for which we will always remember him and treasure forever, and to which we have a special duty to honor and continue his legacy and vision. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Victor Siu, the music director of Great Wall Youth Orchestra. We will be performing Dance of the Yautja. The song was chosen because it was the very first collaboration between Oakland Symphony and our youth orchestra, which was the start of a beautiful friendship and many more productive projects with Maestro Morgan, including Maestro Morgan joining our foundation as a board member. It is inspired by the long dance, a form of traditional festive music of the Yao people in the south and southwest part of China. I know it sounds kind of weird that every time I listen to this traditional Chinese folk song, Maestro Morgan is the first person that comes to mind. But in a way, it also speaks to us who he was as a musician and a person. He believed in multicultural education, in the arts. Everyone deserved a voice. He enjoyed experimenting and constant evolution as an artist. He didn't enjoy being pigeonholed, and he was constantly learning to be a better musician, conductor, and global citizen.
Good evening, everyone. This is phenomenal. This is a celebration of Michael Morgan. Can we give Michael Morgan an applause? My name is Yelly Taylor, and I am a professional violinist and violist, born and raised in Sabrani Park in East Oakland. First, I would like to express what an honor it is to be a part of Michael's legacy. When thinking about what I would share here, I asked friends and colleagues for words that encapsulated Michael's spirit. They responded with visionary, beaming, legendary. Someone said true to his gifts, true to his values, true to those he so graciously and hilariously led. Someone else said, the times I played under his baton, he was so much fun, but he was no nonsense about his music making. Correct. Pure, he was so not bothered by anything other than bringing the music, fostering community and belonging, and in general, doing good. He was our friend, mentor, teacher, and conductor. And if you were on Facebook, he was an unofficial social and political commentator. Michael was all of these things and more to hundreds, likely thousands of people. My word is guide. I first met Michael 25 years ago as a fourth grader in the violin class at Sabrani Park Elementary School. He visited my class that year and again in fifth grade. After fifth grade, I was relieved to finally quit violin. Okay, so I made a lot of progress in those 2 years. I didn't really see myself going anywhere with it. But Michael had a different idea about my future. During those years, and for many years following, as you heard, Michael regularly visited the Oakland Public Schools, and he knew that brilliance of all kinds existed within the public schools. But it was more than a belief. It was a commitment and a joy for Michael to be with students, many times connecting them with the resources to get to the next level. And if he couldn't do that, he would encourage them to follow their dreams and work hard, of course. He would remind them, well, us, that we had a future, one of limitless potential. I am so grateful that Michael believed in my potential long before I knew I had any. So the summer before sixth grade, while I was trying my best to retire, I was offered an opportunity to take private violin lessons with a phenomenal teacher at no cost. It was an opportunity facilitated by Michael and one that changed my life. A few years of hard work later, I entered the youth orchestra where I regularly sat under his baton from age 12 to 17. And if there are any OYO alumni in the audience, please meet in the lobby at intermission. In these last few months of mourning, I've come to understand that Michael was so much more than my conductor. He was a guide, forming me as a person and a musician. In my 5 years in the youth orchestra, I received so many lessons. First, even though we were teenagers, Michael held high expectations. He treated us like professionals because he believed that we could be. He also showed what it means to give forward. While in high school, I accompanied Michael on several of his trips to the public schools. He would accompany me on piano, and we talked to the students about being a musician. Michael was always so warm, encouraging, hilarious, and inspiring to watch. I didn't realize that he was teaching me why and how to show up for the next generation, and how to do so with humility and with a sense of purpose. You can imagine his excitement when I told him nearly a decade later that I was going to be a music teacher in the Oakland Public Schools. So I'm going to skip to the end.
Michael wrote my recommendation letter to go to college, and I ended up going to his alma mater, Oberlin Conservatory. He wrote my recommendations for jobs, and I saw him as a professional musician and was so proud that we could both represent Oakland. So, in my last 45 seconds, how lucky I am to have had Michael at the threshold for over 2 decades, opening door after door, reminding me to be me because that's what the world needs. How lucky we are that Michael chose and so vibrantly represented our city. In the aftermath of a life well lived, I continually return to immense gratitude for Michael's far-reaching presence and influence. Though it's extremely heartbreaking to think of a future without Michael's physical presence, I often remind myself of what he'd always say: "Good for you." That was his way of telling you to stay on your path, no one else's. In closing, I would like to share with you an invitation that I received from Michael, the very last line of the last email that he sent me. It's a sentence that perfectly describes Michael, and I hope will serve as an opening for all of us. You keep doing what you're doing and try to bring a few people along.
Good evening. My name is Joe Hebert, and I'm a... And I was struck tonight that this is Michael. This is Michael. The orchestra asked me to say a few words, and thank you to my colleagues for trusting me to say a few things about Michael. When I met Michael, I kind of bonded with him. We both grew up in Washington, D.C. Actually, I was about a mile away from him. I didn't know it at the time. And one night when I gave him a ride home, this was early on, and this is when I knew that there was something very different about Michael. Not only was he a fine conductor, very authentic, very real with all of us, and we appreciated that. Each person in the orchestra had their own unique relationship with him. But I asked him, I said, so how long are you going to stay? Are you going to go someplace else and be a great conductor someplace in the world, or just here? He said, I'm not going anywhere, Joe. He said, I'm not going in. He said, I'm staying in Oakland, and I'm staying with the Oakland Symphony. I love this orchestra. And he said in such a way, it felt like, you know when someone says, I love you, and they really mean it? That's how it felt when he said that. He was saying that he loved Oakland, and he loved the orchestra. But that also meant that we were going to benefit from that love in such a beautiful way. To be connected to one another more, to be connected to the community all around us that we didn't even always notice. To be connected to so many magnificent, wonderful, beautiful, extraordinary musicians that you've seen tonight, playing all kinds of genres of music from all around the United States and world. That's what Michael did for Oakland and for us. And we, as the beneficiaries of that, are excited. We're also sad that he's not here to lead us in this continuing relationship to community and to one another. But I think he's given us plenty of tools and enough guidance. I think we know what to do.
My name is Dan Ashley from ABC 7 News. Thank you very much. I am truly honored to be here tonight for many reasons, not the least of which is any time I can be in front of a large group of people who can't change the channel. But I'm not here in my capacity as a news anchor tonight. I'm here as a board member, a very proud board member of the Oakland Symphony. A truly remarkable, innovative, and magnificent organization, and I'm here as a deep admirer and friend of our friend, Michael Morgan. Sitting in the audience with you for much of the program, I couldn't help feel this sense of pride and satisfaction knowing how moved Michael would have been, and surprised to see this outpouring of love and appreciation for everything that his life has been about. And part of what his life has been about was captured in the Music Maker book series, the one entitled Michael Morgan, and it was written with his legacy in mind, and he was very much a part of the process. In fact, I was very proud to have a long conversation with him via Zoom, because it was the pandemic, to talk about his life, his experiences, his aspirations, not just for him and for the Oakland Symphony, but for our community, even our country. We spoke about that a great bit. And some of that is captured in this book. And Michael loved this book and how it turned out. And I want to read his favorite page and explain why he loved this page, and it was particularly meaningful for him. Whenever he conducted an orchestra in a new city, Michael's parents made flyers and mailed them to everyone. There weren't many black conductors at that time, and Michael's family knew how important it was for young people to see someone who looked like them leading an orchestra and living their dream. Michael's mom, Mabel, is here tonight, and his sister, Jackie. Give them a big hand. Look what you did, Mabel. Great job. He was a wonderful man, and proud to know him. And he did so much for this community, so much for the artistic community, and his legacy is part of what we recognize tonight. This is truly a celebration, and it's a thanks to him for what he gave us, and he gave us so much. But I want to ask you to do all of us a favor. Michael's legacy and his contribution meant a great deal to him. He cared about many things. Of course, new artistic works. You heard a little about that tonight. Certainly underrepresented artists and making sure they appeared on stages like this all over the country and the world. Free concert series so that more people could enjoy the arts and symphony music and make it accessible. The expansion of the Hall Pass program, as well as youth education. You heard his former executive director talking about how at the beginning it was Michael going to those schools by himself. He cared deeply about his community, and he cared deeply about young people and making a difference through the arts, but even beyond the arts. So here's what I'd like to ask you to do. We have a lot of these books, and they're in the lobby. On your way out, we would love for you to take a copy with you, but there's a trade-off. We would be grateful if you would make a donation. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to let you have the book for $20. But you want to give us more than $20 to support Michael Morgan's legacy campaign, don't you? So the money that we raise here tonight will further honor and celebrate what Michael was all about. So I ask you, please, to make sure you don't leave tonight without one of these books. It's a great keepsake. Remember, the holidays are coming up. These are great for young people. Give them to your kids or grandchildren. And donate whatever you can, please. Don't make me come to your house and take your television away. Thank you all for coming tonight to celebrate Michael. It's a beautiful evening, isn't it? And now, we are very fortunate to have someone else who has left an amazing mark on the arts, not just in the Bay Area, but the country and beyond. Please welcome, from the San Francisco Symphony, the artistic director and the conductor, Esa-Pekka Solomon. Thank you all.
I really wish I could be there with you all tonight to celebrate the memory and the life and the living legacy of Michael Morgan. Unfortunately, I can't be there because CNN has me out in the world doing something that is dangerous that I probably don't want to do, but I'm contractually obligated to do. You know how it goes. But I'm so excited to even be able to participate in this part of the program. It is one of the great and most enjoyable experiences of my life, the work that me and Michael Morgan did. And literally, it was no work for me. It was a lot of work for him and a lot of work for the Oakland Symphony. I got to curate a playlist for the Oakland Symphony. Was anybody there? Who's there? Does anybody remember that? Does anyone remember that? I hear from people all the time about that night. It has really stuck with people. I really appreciate it. Michael is a great collaborator because he lets you know, and yes, I can do that. And he also goes, can't pull that off, so we'll have to get Rage Against the Machine next time. And I know that night is popular because I recently heard that it has been appointed the greatest night in the history of symphony orchestras by me. But I loved Michael. I loved working with him. All we can do is continue his living legacy of holding Oakland up to the standards that we know Oakland should be held up to, of being inclusive, loving, just, and a freaky, artistically bold place to be.
So upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. Everybody knows about Mississippi. Goddamn. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. Everybody knows about Mississippi. Goddamn. Somebody better say a prayer. Can't you see it? Can't you feel it? It's all in the air. And I can't take this pressure. Say a prayer. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. Everybody knows about San Francisco. Goddamn. Lord, have mercy on this land of mine. We gon' get it in due time. We don't belong here, we don't belong there. I don't even believe in prayer. Tell me I will tell you. Me and my people just gone through. I've been here, there, so I know. But they keep telling me to go slow. They had us
That's a tough act to follow. Hi, everybody. My name is Jonas Wright. I'm the Dean and Chief Academic Officer at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. And in just a few moments, thank you. In just a few moments, it'll be my honor to introduce a couple of students that are performing on the next piece. Before I do, I just wanted to say a few words about Michael. Michael was my friend. He was my mentor. And he had a really wonderful way of making you feel very special and very unique in that relationship. And as I look out here and see everybody that's here to celebrate him today, I realize that I was not one of the lucky few, but one of the lucky many. I first met Michael in 2012 when I started at the conservatory. He was a faculty member there. Shortly after, he left his position on faculty, and a few years later, when I was appointed dean, one of our colleagues recommended that I get in touch with him and talk to him and ask him for some guidance, some advice, some mentorship. To no surprise of no one, I'm sure, he said yes right away. And the first meeting we had, I came to that meeting with about 10 questions. And we sat down and we started to talk, and he said, you know, Jonas, I can answer these questions for you, and we can do this again in the next week and the week after that, and I'm happy to keep meeting with you for as long as you want. Or I can teach you how to answer your own questions. And we can keep meeting. We can talk about other things, but we don't have to talk about this. And that's what he did. He taught me how to answer my own questions. He's the ultimate teacher, the ultimate educator. Most recently, Michael was with us as the chair of the selection committee for the Black Composers Project that we're doing in collaboration with the Symphony. He handled those duties with the grace and wisdom and humor that you all might expect. Not an easy group to work with, but he made it happen. When Michael passed, I read everything I could that was coming out about him, all of the tributes, all the farewells, the obits. And there's something that he said in 1993 to the Chicago Tribune that I want to repeat to you all. I think at the time this was more of a statement of fact from Michael than it was what I consider it now to be a call to action, and I would encourage you all to think about it as a call to action. When I began my career, I was not involved in the idea of being a role model or increasing minority numbers in the field. I came to realize, however, that someone has to take responsibility. That's Michael. So without further ado, I am really proud to introduce two students from the conservatory playing on the next piece. This piece actually Michael programmed for us when he conducted our orchestra in February of this year. The viola soloist will be Sehun Yoon, and conducted by conducting student Jacko Wang. So, thank you.
another school day. Drab? Yes. Depressing? Yes. But not if you've got a little trick. I know that the walls couldn't get any gloomier. I know that the hallway could stand to be roomier. Although that might be true, I know that this room could have more of a flair to it. I know that this school could have more of an air to it. And so I listen to the beat that's playing inside my head, those magic lyrics that go unsaid. I hear that simple melody, safe and warm, and then I transform with the right music. We're at a film premiere, so many stars it's hard not to stare. With the right music, even the Pope is here. Cameras flash, it's a smash, and who styled her hair? With the right music, roll the red carpet out. Talking to fans would take you all day. With the right music, what could go wrong? With the right song, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Yeah. Gym. 9 a.m. and it couldn't be drearier. I hate gym. Every game leaves you feeling inferior. It's grim. But then I start to hear the beat that's playing inside my head, those magic lyrics that go unsaid. I hear that simple melody, safe and warm, and then I transform with the right music. We're in a Broadway show, singing a song from some other age. With the right music, the company starts to grow. The review had no clue how we fit on the stage. With the right music, we're in an awesome hit. Everyone dancing under the lights. With the right music, what could go wrong? With the right song, I'll be alright. I'll be alright. Others make fun of me. I guess I'm immune. No, it doesn't bother me, 'cause if they don't hear my song, I know that someone will soon. I know that I'm meant to grow into something grand. I know that I'll find people out there who understand. I know the world will finally hear the music playing inside my head, those magic lyrics that go unsaid. They'll hear that simple melody, safe and warm, and the world will transform. With the right music, I hear the world rejoice, kind of like every day is the best. With the right music, everyone hears my voice. It's kind of sweet with this beat, you just can't be depressed. With the right music, anything's possible, like the world's an awesome unknown. With the right music, it's like I belong. With the right song, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see most of you, all the lights. I can't see all of you. Last night, I was sitting in the audience where we had rehearsal for this concert, and suddenly the stage manager and Mako come down and say, right after this piece, we have a big change happening. Can you say something? And I'm like, they're like, just say anything. And I'm like, do I do a dance? I can do some jazz hands. I didn't know what to do. But it made me realize a couple things I really wanted to share. First, you've even noticed the staff coming around, moving microphones with, exactly. With the truly epic number of incredible musicians and artists who came out to celebrate Michael, there's also another group of stage managers, executive directors, COVID safety protocol centuries, making sure everyone's here, everything's moving smoothly and together. So please, one more big round of hand for everybody that helped out with us. And so, two other very quick things. The three pieces that you're about to hear, the piece we just played, all relate to Michael and his dedication in commissioning new music, getting many different artists, genres, styles all together and bringing them to the Oakland Symphony and the Oakland Symphony community. You might remember the last piece, which, by the way, Jesse, Oakland Youth Symphony alumnus, also playing oboe in the orchestra, close friend of Michael's, and musical theater singer. You might remember that piece from our notes from LGBTQ America concert. And the next piece by Richard Marriott and Dan Harder came out right after they both learned of Michael's passing. Dan Harder immediately had an outpouring, as us artists do, and wrote 3 poems. And Richard had decided to set the last one to music as well. They are working on a piece together, which is a future commission of the Oakland Symphony. You might also remember Richard Marriott's music from a cello concerto. I think it was 2019, a cello concerto for honoring the victims of the ghost ship tragedy. After that, the great Oakland celebrity Kev Choice will come and join us with a piece that Michael also helped connect and commission. It was commissioned by the San Francisco Symphony for a video series that they presented during COVID times about different cultures, different communities in the Bay Area. So we get to hear his piece first time with the full orchestra. Finally, I want to take a quick moment to say something about the last piece that we'll perform, Make Our Garden Grow. This was truly one of Michael's most favorite pieces, and is particularly special to me as well. My second orchestra, Michael Morgan was conducting in Chicago Youth Symphony. I got him for a couple of concerts before we went on a tour of Japan. And when the Chicago Symphony Chorus would perform with us, this was the piece we would perform to finish the concert. I remember being a kid, and I remember being a little scared of him at the time, which is funny to think about how much I've laughed with him since then. But we would rehearse it with the orchestra, and we would beg him. We would cheer like kids go into a rock concert for the pop band, because he would sing all of the parts for us while conducting, while we played, and we thought it was the greatest thing we'd ever seen. So not only is this piece very special to him, but to all of us, and I look forward to sharing it with all of you. Please join in and sing. I think we have our switch finished, so first up, Michael Morgan in Memoriam.
tortured man. Humbly dressed, or gay man, larger than our definitions. What would he is important too. Would it be his wit? Would it be his passion? His skill and joy to teach us all. Would it be the things he sought? Or his dazzling craft and
Check one. Oakland, how you feeling? We give thanks for the energy. We give thanks for the blessing. We give thanks for the inspiration. We give thanks for the opportunities that Michael Morgan provided for us. Michael Morgan was a mentor of mine who gave me countless opportunities, one being to perform with this amazing group of musicians on this stage, 2018 for Soul Restoration Suite. A couple things that Michael Morgan impacted me or left me with was that art and activism go hand in hand. He believed that this music was a voice, and he also said that the expressions and the goals of hip-hop, especially the social goals, we should all be working towards that direction. He said that art is the language of the people's heads, hands, and heart. And I just want to thank him for the inspiration. It's a movement. It's not a moment. Oakland, if you're feeling alright, put your hands up to the ceiling if you're feeling the vibe, yo. Cause it's a movement. Michael said it was a movement. He said we representing Oakland. And if you feeling real good tonight, just say, oh yeah. I captivate them like Kaepernick with the Afro pick. Raise the black fist, activists, shut down establishments. Catalyst, no category for this, no data recorded. Hip-hop musician, rooted classical origins, yo. I'm Chopin with the pen, full of emotion. Shine bright under the moonlight, the black Beethoven. Revolutionary music must be Oakland, the streets opus. This a movement, not a moment. Sonata Allegro, yo, I'm in rare form. Bravado was clever, over 4/4 measure to measure. Phenomenal efforts, encores, rounds of applause. Sidewalks to concert halls, who can rock it this hard? I'm bridging the gap, it's bigger than rap. It's liberation, librettos. I free the people with these conscious concertos. I can duck like Harriet Tubman, Underground Railroad, or MTT with the baton and the score to settle. When Michael Morgan put you on, that's a whole nother level. I was put on this platform as a vessel of the rebels. Black Lives Matter, and I'm just keeping it real. If you heard of Mozart, but not William Grant, still a Chevrolet, this ain't George Walker, Hale Smith, Florence Price, Ulysses K, so many others deserve light. Time to decolonize the repertoire. I symbolize those that organize, uprise, protest, and march, create art. Reflect the times, that's what Nina taught. COVID brought the world to a halt. George Floyd brought a murk my heart, but it was a spark, amplify the charge. Same call my ancestors died and fought for. No justice, no peace, equality for all, till we all in harmony. I write music, might cause riots, like Stravinsky, Rite of Spring. First performance, this historic, starting good trouble. John Lewis, hip-hop, the music of the struggle. This a movement. It's not a moment. And you know it feels good together. It feels so good when we do it together. That's how we start a movement. We make progress when we open our minds, open our hearts, open our eyes. We on the front lines for our healing, hear the sounds of our freedom. It's a movement. Aima, the dreamer, come on.
Who got us? We got us. Until the day that there's justice, then it's just us. Bring our people to the street, tell them fists up. Yeah. We coming for them seats with receipts. Best believe that they not gonna steal our hope like they trying to steal those hoes. But we still gon' vote, cause we all know our role. Prayers work. Fast like a candle, light it up, action and intention, now dismantle. We coming for that office, so you can get off it. No, you cannot stop us, actually, we can run for office. Yes, I'm really talking to whoever's listening, cause this a people's movement, and this moment, it is everything. Hold your visions close, put your focus on the offerings. Say the name of the fallen, not forgotten, and stand tall in. The call in, double down.
Double what?
Tell me, are you all in?
All in unison, united as one. My recital is vital, instrumentals essential. Remind you, the music meant to inspire you. 440, how my skills fine tuned. Shine through, clear the loom. Impressionistic, how I flip it with words. Reminiscent Rembrandt, how I paint these pictures on curbs like exhibitions. Look around, the world shifted. This the soundtrack, while you vision what you wanna see. Feel the heart, never miss a beat. This an art on the street that speak to the issues that seek to uplift you. Remember us to the level of two evils. Realize the true powers in the people. My movements, a descendant of Huey Newton and Calvin Simmons. We occupy the algorithms, orchestrated wisdom. MacArthur Boulevard to the mission, Paramount to Davies, Michael Morgan. Hey yo, we did it. This a movement. It's not a moment. You know we're gonna do it forever. It feels so good when we do it together. That's how we start a movement. We make progress when you open your mind, open your heart, and open your eyes. We on the front lines for our healing. It's the sound of our freedom. It's a movement. Hands up to the ceiling. Come on. Feel good, right? Michael Morgan said, we gonna keep this movement going for you, yeah. Yeah. Composed, Kev Choice. Oakland's finest, let's do it,
Hello, I'm Eunsun Kim, the music director of San Francisco Opera.
And I'm Matthew Shovak, the opera's general director.
We are sorry we cannot be with you in person for this heartfelt tribute to Michael Morgan, but we want to express how much Michael meant to the arts community and how deeply we'll miss him.
Michael brought creativity and curiosity to the fore in everything he did. He had a passionate zeal to welcome people into the arts, and he changed the course of so many people's lives. His musical journeys enriched all of us and made so clear why music matters.
Michael's legacy will continue to soar as we carry his vision forward.